Big Al, and let's go to Kevin Hightower. Kevin, my man, what do you got at Waltrip in Washington?
Oh, I had a great game. 34 Washington, 18 for Waltrip. It was interesting because Waltrip started out like they were going to dominate. I mean, 22 seconds into the game, and Julian Lee scored an 80-yard touchdown run for Waltrip. And going into halftime, they were leading the game. And then Washington just went on in the second half to score 21 unanswered points, and Waltrip couldn't do a thing in the third and fourth quarter, and Washington came away with a victory.
Who led the way for Washington tonight?
For Washington, it was Dominic Adams. Carried the ball 13 times for 90 yards and a touchdown. There were three different running backs that scored touchdowns, and Tim Bryant, the quarterback, threw for two himself.
Good stuff. What else was, so what do you think really stemmed the tide from going from them being in control, talking about Waltrip, to Washington turning it around? Was it defense or just a couple big plays offensively?
Well, it was definitely a little of both. You had two interceptions, one by Joshua Holloway, or James Holloway of Washington, and another by Ryan Hillis in the fourth quarter that really kind of, put the game away, the nail in the coffin, so to speak, when Waltrip had a chance to get back into it, but that interception pretty much broke their back.
Great stuff, Kevin, as always, much appreciated. I guess now Washington 3-1 in district. They're in good shape, looking forward.
Yep, not bad.
Not bad at all. Appreciate it, Kevin, and we'll check in with you again as we move along this season with the football Friday night. Let's take another call here. Been waiting at 713-212-5790. Let's go to Andrew. What do you think? And then come back with all the updated scores. Kevin Hightower, another good game for you. MacArthur and Aldine, what'd you see out there?
Well, it was a battle of the winless, of course. Both teams coming in at 0-3. And MacArthur and Aldine went into the halftime tied at 14, but after that, it was pretty much MacArthur who took off. Jaquan Harmison had 26 carries for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. And in fact, MacArthur, the Generals, finished with 53 carries for 356 yards. 30 yards passing, so that gives them almost 400 yards total offense. They had a pretty big day.
Yeah, combined, you're talking over 700 yards of offense, and yet it came down to a defensive play at the very end, didn't it? Isaac Medina?
Absolutely. That's what put the game on ice, was Isaac Medina's interception. And at that point, MacArthur was able to go down and score again. They had 4 touchdowns on the ground, and that was the one that really put it on ice for them. At that point, there was no looking back, and then you have your 28-17 final.
Great stuff. Thank you for joining us, and we're gonna get back at you next week.
We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, John.
All right, good stuff. All sorts of interviews and coaches coming in. So we've put off the updated scoreboard. We're not going to put it up on Clements for sure. Okay, now. Kevin, don't hold it against me, but Coach called in right as I was going to you, man.
Not a problem.
That's Kevin Hightower we're picking up right now. You had another. Boy, this was just a really good weekend for good matchups. Westfield and Memorial. Fill us in on that one.
Oh, this was a great game. I was definitely lucky to get to see this one. This is one of the games where one of the rare situations where if you're going to award an MVP of the game, it goes to a guy on the losing team. Because if you look at the stats individually for everyone on Memorial, there's not any one person who really stands out. It was really a total team effort and a defensive effort. The way it came down towards the end was basically they had about 30 seconds on the clock to run out, and that's Memorial who was holding on to the ball, and the other, Westfield used up their timeouts, and the quarterback, Davis Miller, ran around in the end zone and, took 13 seconds off the clock.
Wow.
And finally kneeled with 7 seconds left.
So rather than risk the punt, I'm just trying to draw the picture here for the listeners, deep in their own territory, time running down, rather than risk the punt, they just said, hey, kill as much time you can. And did he run out the back of the end zone? Or?
No, that's what everyone thought he was going to do, and I think that's what Westfield thought he was going to do, but that's not what happened. He just literally danced around the end zone from side to side, and it was no one made too much of an effort to tackle him, and literally he just kneeled down on his own. No one even got the credit for the safety in Westfield.
But nice win. Memorial, they kind of up and down in the early going, and got a pretty good game out of balance, rushing and passing. Not a lot of yards, but they got the job done.
Definitely, and you have to mention Bo Walker of Westfield.
Right, 131 yards.
Exactly, on 26 carries. He was definitely the statistical leader for both teams at any category.
All right, well, I sure appreciate you weighing in. That's Kevin Hightower from the Houston Chronicle. Thanks again, man.
Thank you, John.
All right, that is Football Friday night for this Friday night, but don't forget.
At the half of this football game between Memorial and Westfield, number 13 ranked, they're leading 7-0 by virtue of a turnover. As you can see, obviously low-scoring first half, and we have with us from the Houston Chronicle, Kevin Hightower. Kevin Hightower covers a lot of high school football, and welcome to TSRN.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, tell us about some of the, basically that this is last week that you're going in before they get into district play. Tell us about some of the better games that you've seen so far in the first couple of weeks.
Well,
definitely the Flying Forest at Albany game was one of the most exciting that I've seen yet. Two teams highly ranked, and it came down to the final minutes. It was 14-6 from halftime all the way to about 30 seconds left in the game, and Aldine was able to tie it up, or not tie it up, but bring it to 14-12, and a two-point conversion would have tied it up. Yet, Flying Forest defense was able to hold. One thing I was really impressed with was the kid Dominic Wilkins had 26 carries for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. So definitely he carried the load there.
Well, in terms of seeing some of the teams that play in this area, obviously this is home game for Memorial here tonight, and they're trailing 7-0. Some of the tougher teams that are in their district, you've got teams like Eisenhower, Nimitz, MacArthur, Northbrook, and Cities Albany last week. Anyone else over there that kind of sticks up as far as you see?
I did see Northbrook play against Spring Woods, and they looked pretty strong. The running game was very strong. The final score of that game was 49-13, and in fact, they won that game without even attempting a single pass.
Wow, as I said, I think earlier, I mean, if you can keep the ball on the ground all night, that does make it very easy. That's almost too efficient.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, this is a team here that we're watching tonight, Westfield at the half, 7-0. I guess if you're in the locker room, Corby Meekins is probably not too happy with the fact that his passing attack has not really clicked so far tonight. Their only score has come off of a turnover in the defense, but they are showing some signs of life, particularly in that second quarter with the ground game. So some turnovers that are hurting.
Yeah, their running back, I believe it's Walker.
Big Bo Walker.
Bo Walker looks great. A lot of speed. Same thing for his backup, number 24. Very fast running backs and very elusive. But it just seems that they're underachieving. Watching the game, it seems like they're controlling the line, and they should be dominating in the score, but they're just not getting it done. Mistakes happening at the wrong time, and that's, we got a 7-0 score, so I really feel like Spring should be taking more control over this game, but I'm sorry, not Spring, but Westfield, but they've just shot themselves in the foot, to be quite honest.
And you know that right now they're getting an earful in that locker room, saying you've got to hold on to the football, and it could be a totally different ball game. Well, of course, on the other side of the field, Memorial, from their point of view, they're in it. I mean, it's no easy task. But you think of some of they've been off on their passing a little bit too. They haven't exactly been very crisp. But Michael Boggins, who started the ball game, he got relieved a little bit by Miller. So I guess Coach Koch is telling them that we've got to get a little crisper as well if we want to stay in this thing.
I would say definitely, and I thought it was good that he did complete that pass towards the end, 9 yards. That's a confidence builder, because up until that point they had not completed a pass the entire game, and they're going to need that type of confidence with their passing game going into the second half. I question, the switching back and forth between the two quarterbacks. I haven't had the opportunity to see Memorial before tonight, so I don't know if it's a situation of one quarterback being good at one thing and the other, coming in for other situations. But number 10 is the only one who's completed a pass so far.
Well, Kevin Hightower, of course, you work for the big Houston Chronicle. A lot of reporters go out during football season. What areas do they usually keep you in the country?
I've been here at Tully Stadium quite a few times. Besides this, they do send me to Klein here and there. Last night I had the pleasure of seeing Oak Ridge play Spring Woods for their homecoming game, and that was an excellent game. Oak Ridge has a great rushing attack. So mainly, the Klein area, Spring area, and definitely Tully is where I've been at the most by far.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, a lot to do, particularly on Friday and Saturday. Where were you? Are you working tomorrow night, or you got a night off?
Actually, tomorrow night I am covering the Houston Cougars for a website that I work for. It's cougsfund.com.
Okay.
And I basically cover all the Houston Cougar games, especially the home games. So they did ask me if I wanted to cover a game tomorrow night, but I opted for my Cougs.
Okay, being a little impartial to those Houston Cougars of the NCAA. How well do you think they're going to do this year?
I think they definitely have a chance to be in double-digit wins again. It's once again going to come down to whether they can hold on to the ball, and that's been the story so far. The final score of the Oregon game was not indicative of how that game went at all. But you can't win a game against a ranked team like Oregon and give up the ball 4 times and have a blocked punt. On the other hand, our defense did look really strong against Tulane in that 34-10 victory, which put us at 1-1. So they've got a really good test on their hands tomorrow. Colorado State is 0-2, but it's a deceptive 0-2. They're a better team than what the record indicates, and they've played a couple of tough teams in Colorado and California.
All right, so since you were able to kind of paint a little bit of a picture of what you think is going to happen there, what do you think will happen here in the second half of Memorial and Westfield? Westfield up 7-0.
I expect Westfield to keep doing what's working and keep feeding the ball to Big Bo Walker. And if they can do that and consistently move the ball down the field, keep picking up first downs and try not to put the ball on the ground, obviously, then there's no reason that they shouldn't take this game running away.
Well, Kevin Hightower, Houston Chronicle, I want to thank you very much for stopping by in the booth now where usually the writers congregate, coming here into the TSRN radio booth. And we look forward to perhaps chatting with you on future cases.
Definitely, I appreciate you having me.
All right, if you've been listening to us talking to Kevin Hightower, he works for the Houston Chronicle here at the half at Tully Stadium. Friday night lights, Friday night football, Westfield and Memorial 7-0, Westfield 13.